Welcome back to the All About You podcast. And today my guest is Abigail. Abigail, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me, Sheila. It's nice to be here.
It's nice to have you here because we've known each other for quite a long time and we both attend Baila Concameron's dance school. I started following you on Instagram and I noticed that you had started a 75-day exercise and water challenge.
Yes.
So I want you to take us into what was that all about?
Yeah.
Where did you get that idea from?
So essentially, it's this challenge and it's called the 75 Hard challenge, basically. And what it involves is, as you said, exercise and water, but more specifically, one exercise session indoors, 45 minutes, one exercise session outdoors, 45 minutes. Drinking, I think it's a gallon of water, so kind of 3-ish liters of water. You have to take a progress picture every day. You have to read 10 pages of a nonfiction book every day. No audiobooks, you have to physically read it. And you have to finish that book. You can't change your mind if you don't like it or not. And you're not allowed to drink alcohol, that sort of thing. That's lucky for me because I don't drink anyway, so that was good. But yeah, 75 days, you have to do this every single day. You're supposed to kind of stay kind of clean eating. I went a bit easy on that because I didn't want to be extremely strict on my mind. But yeah, I saw it online, and the main thing for me, it's that it wasn't really kind of a physical transformation process for me. It was more of a prove to myself that mentally I could do something like this, because I often jump into a hobby or jump into a project and then get bored of it and leave easily, or I find that I don't kind of finish things out sometimes, and I really wanted to prove that I could do this for 75 days straight. So I found all the Facebook groups online, all the information. I found an application where you can tick off your points every day of what you had to do, take your picture every day. And yeah, I started in March of this year, I think March 3rd or 4th, and I finished in May, and it was amazing. It was a big transformation for me. I really enjoyed it, as horrible as it sounds. I really quite liked it.
I mean, just before we talk about the process of that, let's go right back again. So you found this online.
Yeah.
Now, you've talked about exercise, 45 minutes indoors, 45 minutes outdoors.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, straight away there is going to be an issue.
Yeah.
Yes, they can go to the gym or they can exercise to a YouTube video at home, but the 45 minutes outside.
Sure.
Now, you're living here in Valencia, and we are actually blessed with really, really good weather. I can't imagine the weather was an issue for you.
Well, actually, around March, it was quite difficult because I don't know if you remember, we had quite a lot of rain during Fallas all that time. So those were the days where it was really hard. Even getting up to go to the gym before work in the rain was difficult. Getting my umbrella out, walking to the gym. And then for my 45-minute outside workout, I would usually go on a walk, like a intense walk for 45 minutes. But yeah, those days it was hard, fully wrapped up, umbrella and everything. But I can imagine somewhere else where there's way more rain, definitely it will be way harder. But I think that's the mental push of it, and getting outside for 45 minutes every day, the change in my kind of mental health was amazing, because I could find myself some days, if I didn't have any plans for a couple of days, it's very easy to stay indoors and get wrapped up in your own thoughts or sitting on the couch watching TV. So having to go out every day and kind of making myself go out every day was really, really nice. I felt so productive, as you can imagine, over those days. But yeah, I can imagine in a different country as well, it would be hard, but that's kind of part of the challenge, I guess.
I think that's the thing that interests me with the exercise is I can see the 45 minutes indoors. We've got the gym option, you've got YouTube, etc., etc. Outdoors, you have said you actually enjoyed it because you were going for like a high intensity walk. That for a lot of people is going to be a challenge. Not everyone lives near a park or a river or near a field. If you're living in a built up city, pounding the pavements for 45 minutes, and you've got to think before work, in your lunch break, after work. Here, it doesn't get dark till 6 o'clock at the earliest. But if you're not living in sunny Spain, we're talking about you're going for your walk after work at night in the dark.
Yeah.
So I can see, just looking at that exercise component, how that would be a challenge for a lot of people.
Definitely. And that's why, I mean, I sat down at the beginning of the 75 days and made this huge chart with all the days written on it. And I planned my first kind of 3-4 weeks of when I was going to exercise, when I was going to do it, because you can't go into these days without a plan, because otherwise it's 10 o'clock at night, you haven't read your book, you haven't done any of your exercise, you just can't leave it to kind of fate like that. So with the outside part, I started just walking as opposed to taking public transport, getting somewhere and adding 10-20 minutes onto the end of that walk. So I would walk to dancing from my house, which was close enough to 45 minutes. I would do an extra lap if I needed to. I would walk to, you know, my friends' houses or walk to where I was meeting them. So instead of grabbing a taxi or getting the bus, I would just walk, and that kind of really helped. But yeah, you have to sit down and plan when you're going to do it. And I got into a really nice routine where I would wake up, go to the gym, come home, have my breakfast, read my book, start work, go on my walk after work. It ended up really well, but you definitely have to say, when am I going to do this? Because otherwise it goes all up in the air and you can't, you don't have any control over what's happening.
So Abigail, are you a natural planner?
Yes, I'm a natural planner. Whether I stay along with the plan is another story, but I am definitely that person who has 10 different notebooks in my house. And if I start a new kind of chapter or project, I'm like, I need to get a new notebook and write everything down. Definitely a natural planner. Even if we go on trips or anything, I'm like always at Google Maps, like looking at what's around, what restaurants are there. Definitely a planner when it comes to trips or anything like that. But yeah, I am a little bit
because
like that.
I mean, as you said, sitting down consciously and saying, okay, let's just look at the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
You've got your huge sheet of paper and you're doing your plan. For a lot of people, they may, well, I'll get up in the morning, open the curtains and see what the weather's doing.
Sure.
So even that can be a challenge.
Yeah. Well, funny enough, I was following this girl online who does a lot of fitness and just she just wants to become stronger really in herself. And her motto is follow the plan, not the mood. So every morning I woke up and I went, follow the plan, not the mood, and just jumped out of bed, you know, because you just have to follow that, not the mood. You just have to keep going with it. The mood will follow eventually.
Oh my God, I think you've just got the title of this podcast, because that is so true. Because, you know, I know myself, you'd get home from work and you'd sit down, have a cup of coffee and think, right, I'm going to go to that 7 o'clock exercise class. It soon became to me very, very apparent, and this was after years of actually teaching exercise. No, go straight from work.
Yeah, don't sit down.
Do not go home. Do not pass go. You go straight to the gym. You've got your kit bag in the car, whether it's your swimming costume kit, whether it's your dance class kit, and you just go and do it, and it does create a habit.
Definitely. Well, I don't know if you've read the book Atomic Habits. One of my favorite books. I've read it, I think, twice now. But one of the things he says, James Clear, is that you are more likely to do something if you write it down. And if you write it down in the sense of literal, like after work today, I will put on my shoes and I will go on my walk. For some reason, you're more likely to do it that way and have everything ready for you. Have your workout gear at the door, have your shoes ready beside your bed. Just make it as easy for you as possible so there's less excuses to say, no, I'm not going to do it. But that was one of the books I reread during that challenge, I guess. I love it. It's amazing. Habit forming is so interesting.
We've talked about the exercise. Let's talk about the water. I mean, we're sitting here. You've got the most enormous water bottle.
Sure.
I mean, I've got one here which holds
a litre, no? Yeah.
Yours just looks a bit like
it's a bit dense.
milk churn to me. So let's talk about the water then. On this system, you were going to drink 3 litres a day.
Yeah.
Prior to that, were you a good water drinker?
I'm a good water drinker when I am in an exercise class or in dance class. I'm drinking a lot of water, but other than that, I can forget, I guess, quotation marks, to drink water until a certain time of the day. You know, that sort of way I can go about it. But now it is drilled into me, you know, so especially in this heat.
Yeah.
you really need it.
We're currently sitting here in the sunny Valencia at the end of August. I'm guessing we're at sort of 36 degrees now.
Yeah.
I have to say, when I knew we were doing this podcast, I put my water bottle, my litre water bottle here, because I brought this the other day in lovely Primark, and the thing that attracted me to it, it's got all the measurements up the side. I fill this in the morning, and my plan is to drink 1 litre before lunch. Yeah. Fill it up after lunch, and I've got to drink it again. Yeah. If not before dinner, before I go to bed. Yeah. Me, as a detail facts person, the fact that I can say, okay, I've drunk 300 millilitres now, or I've drunk 450, is a huge motivation for me. The actual fact that I can see actual facts and details and how much I've drunk. And I've had this about a week now, and my water consumption has gone through the roof.
Wow, amazing.
Purely because it's given me facts.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a plethora of water bottles outside.
Yeah.
This is the only one I'm going to be using now. And I think this was about €4.
Well, you need that validation to say you're doing it, you know?
Absolutely. You know, I am a facts and a figures girl, so, okay.
Yeah, I love that.
400 millilitres.
With mine, I need a straw on it, so I find it's way easier to drink with a straw than chucking it down your neck sort of way. I find it way easier to drink with that. But no, it's so good for, I mean, stating the obvious, water is good for you, but I mean, yeah, I would do the same. Get up in the morning, fill up my water bottle, try and drink. I would probably have a litre done by maybe 9 o'clock because I'm in the gym early. Then I would get one done before I would go to dancing in the evening, and then I would have one during dancing on my way home. At the beginning, very difficult, lots of trips to the toilet, which is normal, but you'll get used to it. But then I started noticing, I mean, before this challenge, I would drink energy drinks. I was kind of one of my vices, very few vices, but one of them. And I would usually have an energy drink a day. And now they're completely gone out of my life, which is really big for me because I don't really have a lot of room for other liquids, you know? So I'm just all about the water game now.
I mean, this is interesting about water because it gets bandied around, we need to drink 2 litres a day. And I've researched this many, many times. There is no scientific evidence for 2 litres a day. Yeah. However, I think if we are told 2 litres a day, aim for that. Yeah. That's generally to try and encourage people to drink 2 litres if you're not a natural water drinker. And a lot of people, they just cannot face plain water.
Of course, yeah.
I appreciate, you know, there's no scientific for it, but I think it's good. Aim for 2 litres.
Definitely.
If you find only 1.5 litres is comfortable, don't kill yourself trying to glug that
for
extra
sure.
half.
It's better than nothing. There are some people who struggle to get 1 glass of water in a day, you know, people drinking tea, people drinking coffee, juice, that sort of thing. So anything is better than nothing, really. I'm not still drinking the 3 litres a day because it was a bit overkill, but at least 2 litres I'm getting. I notice it's better for my skin. I notice I'm like kind of less, obviously drinking less other things, less energy drinks. I'm a little bit more chill. I just prefer it a lot more. Yeah, it's good, especially in Valencia. You have to be so careful with the heat, so I mean it just makes sense, doesn't it?
So you have really noticed the difference in your skin and your body drinking the extra water?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, I think it's hard to pinpoint a thing for sure with all the exercise and everything, but my skin has definitely gotten a lot better. I've never had terrible skin, but I guess given a bit of a glow. This isn't just sweat, it's a nice water glow. But yeah, even some of my friends in dancing would say like, you look like you're glowing, you know? And I think that the change in routine, the change in kind of lifestyle helps overall, you know, just feeling a little bit better in myself. I find getting more energy, you know, I'm one of those people, if I want more energy, I have to do more, not do less sort of way. So overall, it just gave me more energy, kind of gave me a bit of a glow, which is always nice. I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things you've been doing is been going to the gym as your indoor exercise session. prior to this, should we call it a campaign, a system? I don't know.
Sure.
What do we call
I was
it?
calling it a challenge. Yes.
Okay. So prior to this challenge, I know you do loads of exercise classes, you do ballet, you do musical theatre. You are doing absolutely everything there is down there with By Like on Cameron. Were you a natural gym person before this?
So I've been in gyms in Spain before since I've been here, not on a very regular schedule. Back when I lived in Ireland, the only time I would go to a gym and stick with the gym is when I worked with a personal trainer. So when I had someone to kind of hold me accountable. And I really thought that that was going to be the only way that I could stick to something, when I had someone else kind of depending on me. Because sometimes when it's only yourself depending on you, you can kind of push yourself away and say, it's fine, we'll leave it. So when this started, I started doing things myself. I really got into going on Instagram and finding different workout routines, saving them. If you go on my Instagram, like all my saved videos are in categories of leg day, arm day, core day, all these different like mobility warm-ups. I got really into seeing what I could do. And now I have such a routine for myself. I try and go 3 times a week, which feels way less than to what I was doing, but it is the perfect balance now because I still walk around a lot and I still obviously get other forms of workout in, but I go 3 times a week. I try and split it into kind of one day I'll do lower half, next day I'll do upper half, and I always finish with a kind of core workout basically. But now I'm like doing it myself. I don't need someone else to rely on to do it, which is really kind of nice. And the nice thing about it is in my mind, I only still have to do 45 minutes, which flies by really in the gym. By the time you're set up, you're moving around to other machines and everything. It's not a lot, but it's all I need to stay in my routine and get out of the house and do it. So yeah, I'm a bit transformed in that sense.
We talked about exercise. We talked about water. Now, you brought up James Clear, Atomic Habits.
Yeah.
Part of this challenge then was to read one non-fiction book, 10 pages a day.
10 pages a day. So yes, you had to read it. No audiobooks allowed. You have to read 10 pages of a non-fiction book. So I started off with Atomic Habits. Loved it. I mean, it's an amazing book. I recommend for everyone to read it. Really I love the logic behind how the brain works, and it's just so fascinating to me.
I think this is the best personal development book ever.
Sure.
And I am definitely looking for someone to do a podcast about that book.
Yeah.
Would you be up
I'll
for
be
that?
back. I'll be back.
I would love to do that because I've recommended that book to so many people. For us who have both read through that book, and we've probably each taken different things.
Yeah.
I would love to have you back,
for
Abigail,
sure, definitely,
and
definitely
do a podcast just about that book.
Yeah.
But let's just cover this 10 pages a day of a non-fiction
book.
Yeah.
So I started with Atomic Habits, and what I find is that you end up reading more than the 10 pages a day. You know, you kind of get into, you just keep going if it's a really good book like Atomic Habits. And the interesting thing is that you have to finish the book. Even if you're not enjoying it, you still have to push through and finish it, which is another part of the whole discipline side of things. So I read Atomic Habits. I read kind of an intense book called Can't Hurt Me, which is written by an ex-army guy from the US. A lot of the content I left and some of the content I kept because it was quite intense, very army style of motivation, I guess. I also read Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, which is a classic, which is still super relevant, still so relevant. I read The Let Them Theory, which we were just talking about before we started this, which is an absolutely amazing book by Mel Robbins and her daughter. Highly recommend. I read The Mountain Is You. I read maybe 6 books over the 75 days, which is, I'm not a reader. I'm really not a reader. And I'm still continuing to read more books now. I just love the self-development, psychological books. You know, I read The Power of Money, which is all about investing and saving and that sort of thing. So anything to do with how we work, how we can improve ourselves by 1% to make ourselves a little better or make our days easier is something I love. So that was a part of me that I was quite surprised about, how much I enjoyed the reading. You know, starting your day, sitting down in the quiet reading before the world kind of wakes up a little bit. Well, in Spain anyway. No one wakes up until a little bit later. It was super nice. So I loved that side of it. Yeah, it was great.
I mean, that's really interesting, because I was going to follow up with the question, were you a big reader beforehand? And you said, no, you really weren't. For someone who's really not a big reader, to then dive into these personal development books, because some of the ones from the list you've given us are pretty heavy.
Yeah.
And if you're not a natural reader and saying, okay, I've got to read something I'm not used to reading, 10 pages a day.
Yeah.
So for some people, 10 pages could be 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Other people, that could be 2 hours. So again, that is, how do you incorporate that into your day? And did you try and do the 10 pages all in one go?
Yeah. So not going back to Atomic Habits, but going back to Atomic Habits, where you do the kind of habit stacking, where one habit leads to the next, And that's kind of how I started my morning. Wake up, go to the gym, come back, have my breakfast, sit down immediately and read my book. And it just worked like that. I felt weird if I sat down after my breakfast without reading my book. It had to happen that way. Some of the books I flew through, I read way more than 10 pages and was really enjoying it. Some books I was like, I don't want to continue with this. It's hard even getting through the 10 pages. I will do 10 pages minimum and that's it. And I think that part of the challenge is all just about discipline and pushing through and doing something even though it's maybe uncomfortable or unenjoyable for a minute. Some days when I was out of my routine, if I was away or not in my house or doing something different, I would have to fit it in at a different time. But one of the more stricter rules, if you choose to follow it, was that you couldn't read it going to bed at night. So it couldn't be like just a nighttime enjoyable thing. It had to be a part of your day, productive, which is, I guess, understandable. But you really had to make time from it, because sometimes 10 pages takes a lot longer than you think it would, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think as well, the interesting thing, we're talking and we're calling it sort of personal development. Years and years ago, I don't know whether you remember, you would go to a bookstore and stuck in the corner would be like self-help.
Sure.
And self-help.
Self-help for dummies.
Exactly, yeah. And it's basically self-help was, well, you're broken and you need to try and fix yourself. It had a very, very negative connotation to it. Now it's been rebranded as personal development. Yeah. And it's basically, wow, you want to present a better version to yourself and to the world than what you currently are. And it's seen as something really, really positive. Yeah. So I'm really glad it's had this complete sort of makeover. And it's socially acceptable to now to say, oh, have you read Atomic Habits? Yeah. And there's generally somebody who will go, oh, that's all hocus pocus. That's fine. If you want hope, that's fine. It's not going to be something you will enjoy. But a lot of people are open to it. And I'm just really, really glad we've got through the self-help, oh, you're obviously broken, you need to be fixed, to now you just want to be the better person than you are. Absolutely. And you're prepared to do the work, whether it's reading books, whether it's doing courses, or like you're doing, creating new routines, setting yourself a challenge. So I'm really, really happy about this rebranding.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of like the rebranding of therapy, really. Absolutely. I mean, like now someone says, oh yeah, I went to therapy today. No one bats an eye, because who cares? I mean, it's normal. It's great. You don't have to be in the pits of despair to go to therapy. Exactly. It can be a maintenance thing. So yeah, I mean, I go through phases of saying, just let myself be. I'm not going to read anything super self-developmental. I'm not going to push myself to get better, and I'm just going to let myself be and live a little bit. And then sometimes I'm like, how can I just make life a little bit easier for me? Or how can I make my mind a nicer place to be in, And if that's through books or through therapy or through listening to podcasts, as we were saying, that sort of thing. I mean, why not? Life is short, but it can be long at the same time. So make the most of it, fill it with learning, I guess.
Exactly. We've talked about exercise, we've talked about the water, and we've talked about reading the book 10 pages a day. Is there anything else in this challenge?
Let me see. So I had to take a progress picture every day, which is very, very little. I just worked that into my routine I was less concerned about how my body was changing and more about the discipline side of it. So that wasn't a big part of the challenge for me. The biggest part really was probably the exercise, to be honest. But when I was in it, it was, I hate to say, it was quite easy when you're in it. You know, you've got your day set out, you're done, it just feels very, very normal. And I would tell people I'm doing this and they would go, you are crazy, you're putting this upon yourself. But it was fine after a while, you know, it was really good. So they're the main core kind of aspects of it that I've kept obviously a few of them up since finishing, really.
I just really want to sort of go back to, you had to take a photograph of yourself every day. I was following you on the challenge, and there you are in these gorgeous, colourful gym outfits. I mean, you've got a fantastic range of gear, I have to say. But you were really taking a picture of yourself in sort of cycling shorts and a top. Yeah. You really weren't sort of the long leggings, the big, bulky, cover-up, baggy top.
Yeah.
I should imagine for a lot of women particularly, so I guess men are following this challenge as well.
Yeah,
it's not just
absolutely.
For females. A lot of women, that's probably the biggest hurdle they would have in having to take this picture and post it. So you chose to put it on your Instagram.
Well, yeah,
account.
I mean, those pictures that we're talking about, it's all my mirror selfies that I take. They are not the progress pictures that I took. The progress pictures that I took were me with my cycling shorts rolled down to my waist, so I'm not wearing the big high-waisted ones, me standing with my arms kind of up so you could see my full frame, which is even more daunting because you're seeing yourself in kind of your natural habitat, I guess. You don't have the fancy lighting, you don't have the nice outfit, you're just there in your sports bra and your shorts. Very daunting, and you're kind of, the first few days you're looking in between pictures like, is that a difference there? Is that a change here? But really, as it went on, I was kind of more noticing the way I held myself, the kind of bit more light in my eyes, that sort of thing. My body will fluctuate for the rest of my life, as women do, you know? So I'm trying to be less focused on that and more focused on kind of the strength side of things. You can see that I'm getting much stronger at day to day in the gym. I'm much stronger. But yeah, those photos are hard to take because you kind of have to look at yourself and do it. But again, it's all about the discipline of following through with something. And at the end, obviously, there's a difference for me for sure, but it's more kind of, oh, look at the way I was holding myself here and look at the way I'm holding myself now, which is very different, which was more important for me really to see that I could get through that rather than I need to change my body or I'm not comfortable in it. It's more just let me get through this.
That's interesting you say that, because I can't remember where I heard this phrase, but it was basically, don't exercise for the mirror, exercise for you. Yeah. In other words, when you're exercising, it's not particularly to build muscle or for women, I don't know, lose belly fat or thigh or whatever you want to do. But it's more, don't make it about the mirror image,
the aesthetic,
about, as you say, your core or strength training or whatever you want to do. I mean, you're talking about this challenge and you are grinning from ear to ear. You're incredibly enthusiastic about it. You've chosen to continue. You've gone past the 75 days. So you completed that initial challenge. Sure. And you've decided to continue with it? Or have you changed it slightly?
So yeah, I mean, now I'm just have made my own kind of lifestyle, I guess, routine with it. So I've kept aspects from it, which is drinking a lot of water, reading. I'm not sticking to the strict 10 pages a day. I'm reading way more. I read when I'm outside or going somewhere. And then I've committed to myself that I go to the gym 3 times a week. If it's a rough week or something happens, 2 is fine, but I kind of try and make myself go 3 times a week. And I just noticed that it's such a big difference for my head, feeling like I've been productive. You know, if you have a day where you do absolutely nothing at all and then in the evening I go to the gym, suddenly the day is turned around and I feel like I've done something or I feel good. I am the type of person who needs that sort of routine, that day to day. It's been great for me, especially during summer as well, where everyone's gone away. I can put more effort into it and that sort of thing. So I've kept elements of it, but to do that 75 hard days is difficult. You know, it's not a sustainable way of life, working out twice a day. It's not, and that's why it's a challenge. But it's not something that you should carry on for the rest of your life, working out twice a day and drinking that much water and it's too much. So you need to find a sustainable way that realistically works into your day-to-day really.
So one thing I wanted to ask you, Abigail, what's one thing that really surprised you about the 75 challenge? Something you didn't expect, something that was a bonus, something you struggled with?
Yeah, I really like going out for the walks. Really, it was great. I live right beside La Huerta, so like all the fields and everything like that, and that was somewhere that I hadn't really been in before, and that was a really lovely discovery for me because I could go on these long walks through all the fields and see all the new vegetables growing. It was beautiful. It was super nice. I really liked that side of the outside workout side of things because I thought that was going to be the worst part of it, having to get out every day, but it did such a big difference for my head, for sure. The reading was surprising as well because I really ended up learning so much, and I really got into kind of a reader's habit. You know, now I'm going through an airport and picking up 2 books on the way home, which is so like me. A huge book collection now, which is crazy, but I like it. And even if I'm reading a book that I'm not enjoying, I will finish it just to finish it for the sake of it. So it's nice to prove to myself that I can commit to something and finish it, because it's very easy to just say no. I really didn't think I would make it. I said to myself, if I make it through like 10 days of this, I'll be really happy. And I couldn't believe that I made it to the end. But as I said, once I was in it, I was like, oh, this is kind of my normal now for the next 75 days. It's fine. It's pretty much my routine, you know? So there was a lot of surprising facts about it. Some days when you're feeling rough, you're feeling maybe down, you have those sad days, it was hard to get out of the house, and I kind of thought I would love to not be able to go out right now, but those are the days sometimes where you need it the most as well. So a lot of surprising factors about it, but surprising that I finished it, really. It's a big one as well.
As you said, you sat down and you planned out on this huge sheet of paper your workouts. Have you still kept those? So
on this big sheet that I had, I would cross out every single day that came up, because that's apparently a good visual thing to do. I like your water bottle, seeing the days go down.
We like data. We like the data.
Some psychological thing, being able to tick something off, saying that's a day done. So no, I don't. I threw it out because it was so big, it was huge. But I still have the app on my phone where I can see all the days that I did, all the pictures that I have and everything. And I documented a lot of it as well, as you would know from my annoying Instagram stories every single day, just posting. I didn't go to the gym every day because 7 days a week in the gym is too much. No one should do that. But maybe 2-3 days out of the week, I would stay home and do yoga or Pilates or something like that. So yeah, it was great. I still have all the pictures.
I mean, it's absolutely incredible. You've completed the 75 challenge, full stop. But you have continued with these various steps in your life, and you said it just feels like the new normal now.
Yeah.
What advice would you have to somebody listening this and saying, okay, well, 75 challenge, there's no way.
Yeah.
But I think I might quite fancy going for a bit of a walk. I know I'm not drinking as much water. What would you say to somebody who wants to dip their toe in, shall we say?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm going to go back to it, but read Atomic Habits, which we will talk about for sure. But I think for me, and I think for a lot of people it works, is the planning of it, you know? So even if it's, I just want to go on a walk after work, write down, today when I close my laptop, I'm going to put my runners on, I'm going to open the front door and I'm going to go for a walk, you know, something as simple as that. Or if it's more difficult, trying to do it with a friend, you know, like especially in Valencia, we're spoiled with places to go to for a walk, but even walking around the city with a friend or driving out somewhere to go for a walk, it's really nice. I think it's important to do it for the right reasons as well. You know, I didn't go into this challenge saying, I hate myself, I hate my body, I want to completely change myself. I wanted to prove that I could finish something, and I wanted to become strong. I want to be an old lady that can walk around and lift things and bend and pick myself up when I fall. That's my goal. So having the right reasons for wanting to make a change in your life as well is really important. Why do I want to do this? Why do I want to embark on a journey like this is super important as well. But yeah, sometimes you just gotta put your shoes on. Get up and put your shoes on is one of the biggest things to do.
I think that's what they say, is that the hardest thing for going for a run is actually that first step outside the front door.
Exactly.
And absolutely, we've all been there.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, do I really need to go to the gym or a dance class, whatever, tonight? I just want to curl up and put Netflix on.
Yeah.
But I think this business about routine, and that there is this saying, isn't it? A good day starts the night before.
Yeah.
And I must admit, for me, booking a class, you book the day before. You get, okay, it's this class. I need my shoes, my socks, my sports bra, get my water bottle out. It's all in a neat little pile there. Set the alarm because I've got to be there for 9 o'clock. That to me is great. I mean, I'm quite good as a person. I love a routine, love a bit of system, love a bit of data, that type of thing. But even for me, I've come home from work before and I go, oh God, I've booked in for this class. I've had a shitty day at work, basically. I was going to sit down with a glass of wine. I go, okay, realistically, what would I say to somebody else? Let's be my own therapist. What would you say? Are you going to feel better sitting there staring at Netflix, drinking the glass of wine, but still thinking about the crappy day at work? Or when you're in an exercise class, you can't think about anything else, and you come out and you think, oh, I don't even know what happened at work today. Exactly. It's just getting over that little... Yeah,
it helps if you have the kind of monetary thing to it. If you book a class and you pay for it.
Absolutely.
That is very helpful. That is very helpful. It's very difficult to know the balance of, I need to push myself and go and get out, and also I need to stay at home today, because that is also very much part of our day-to-day. We need to have those rest days. We need to have those days where we stay in our pajamas all day and do nothing, so trying to listen to your body, listen to your mind, and try not kind of overlap the two, understand what is really needed. Because sometimes I will say, okay, I can't do it this week. I need to completely switch off and take a break from everything and just recharge. And then some days I don't want to go out, but I know I need to. So sometimes it's a little bit just whining and moaning and I need to go. Other days you can say, look, it's fine, you don't need to, so it's trying to find that balance as well, which I definitely still struggle with, especially after such a heavy period of exercise. 3 days a week sounds like nothing. So finding that balance is so important as well.
Really agree with what you're saying, as in listen to your body, because you know your body better than anybody. And on this podcast I have a lot of health professionals who come on. And one of my aims of this podcast is to educate people. And I always say, you know your body. If there's something that you think, oh, that doesn't feel right, that doesn't look like, go and get it checked out.
Absolutely.
What is right for you is going to be different for everybody. Knowing your body, and as you say, there will be days where you think, really, my body is telling me I need to rest. And give your body that chance, because Mother Nature is incredible. The body is meant to heal itself. But the trouble is, we, instead of giving it that opportunity, we want to pop a headache pill or a stomach pill and just carry on at 100 miles an hour. That does us no favours whatsoever, as opposed to just taking the rest that we need, give the body the opportunity to repair itself. So listen to your body, know what's right for you. That is from top to toe. Absolutely.
Definitely. And I think that's where routine is super helpful, to have a moment in every day where maybe you're sitting down with your coffee in the morning, or you're sitting down with your book and kind of just mentally checking in and saying, where am I at today? Because often we can just fly through the day without even thinking, how am I actually feeling today? How does my body feel? Does anything feel different? Does my head feel sore? Do I have a creak in my neck? Anything like that. It's important to check in and feel understand how you're feeling as well, because we often bypass that and just get straight into what we're doing. But having a little moment to say, what's really going on? Am I okay to face the day? What's my battery level at, is super important as well. But it is such a balance, and it's such a mind game as well, trying to argue with yourself, or I need the rest, no, you need to go out, or missing one workout isn't gonna harm you. It's something that you really need to build kind of resilience to say, this is okay. I've missed one workout before, I will pick it up next week. It's something that you have to bounce back from. If we're talking about missing a workout, is that you miss one, then you go 2 days later. You don't just give up on yourself because you've missed one. It's kind of like when I've had one bad meal today, I'm going to make them all bad today.
And there are a lot of people who do that.
Absolutely. I've done it. I mean, we've all done it, Well, I've ruined today, so I'll just ruin the rest of the week. And I'll start on Monday. But that's not life, unfortunately. I kind of think by the 80-20 rule, you know, like 80% of the time I'm going to try and do my best, and 20% of the time I'm going to say, I can't be doing it today, you know? So for me, it was, I've gone through a lot of different health phases, running, going to the gym at home, doing this sort of thing. And my mindset is that when I finished something, I couldn't get back into it because I'm not in it anymore. I don't have the adrenaline. But if you miss one session, you miss 1 week, even 2 weeks, you can still get back into it and continue with it, instead of me just saying, well, no, it's done, it's over, I'm never getting back into it now. You can start it back up whenever. So having that mindset as well is very helpful when you're in a kind of gym lifestyle, I guess.
I mean, this is such an interesting conversation. I'm so happy we've actually got together. Before we finish, is there anything else you want to cover? Any comments, any advice?
No, I guess, I mean, just to emphasize that I don't think anyone needs to do a 75-day hard. It's not something that you need to do in your life to work out that much or be so strict on yourself. You know, it was something that I wanted to do for myself mentally, to push myself, and I felt like I was in a bit of a rut with my day-to-day, and I just wanted to really challenge myself. I will say that it is absolutely not sustainable for your whole life. You have to find what works for you, what's best for you, whether that be any form of exercise or healthy eating or well-being. Just find what works for you. Don't judge it off anyone else. So yeah, this was great for me. It worked really well for me. Doesn't mean that it's going to work for anyone else, but you have to find what works best for you. So don't be deflated if you try to do something like that and it doesn't work out, because it's not meant for everyone, you know? So that's the only thing I would say. I'm very self-conscious of people. Health advice is very sensitive, you know, whether it be the gym or working out or eating. So it's important to know that every single person is going to need something different for them.
And I think just to add to that, a lot of people sort of say, oh, you know, what is the best exercise to do?
Yeah.
And I always say the one that you enjoy.
Exactly.
Because the one that you enjoy and you're going to stick to.
Yeah.
You know, someone likes to play tennis. Tennis is not your thing. Fine, don't go there.
Yeah.
You like to go to a ballet class. Someone else thinks that's the idea of hell. They want to go and do something. It's whatever you enjoy doing, whether that's sport, whether that's exercise, the gym, or whatever the latest thing is. If you enjoy it, you'll stick to it.
Exactly.
And as you said, you know, you haven't got to go hard on it 7 days a week, 24/7. Just find what you enjoy. Start small. Yeah. Even if it's just just try and have one extra glass of water a day. Yeah. See how you go.
Exactly. It's small changes. Yeah. For me, mental health over everything. Physical health is still catching up with in competition for me, but mental health is everything for me. So do what makes you happy. I mean, do what brings you energy, brings you joy, makes you feel good about yourself. And I've just found what helps me. So I hope people can find what works for them as well.
Abigail, thank you so much.
Thank you,
it's been
Sheila.
Absolutely brilliant.
My pleasure.
There was so much information there. And we're definitely going to get together to do Atomic Habits.
I know, a book club.
Oh my God, yes, definitely. Abigail, thank you so much for taking us through the 75-day challenge.
Thank you so much, Sheila. I appreciated it.
Well, I hope you really enjoyed that conversation, because I certainly did. And I think there's a lot of common sense information from Abigail there. So please feel free to share that podcast to anybody you think who may be interested. And as we were saying, you don't have to do the 75 hard. Take it gently. Go for a walk. Just try and have an extra glass of water a day. Thank you for listening to the podcast. And if you want to tell your story on the All About You podcast, please drop me an email on allaboutyoupodcast@yahoo.com and let's tell your story.